In just a moment, a special project for a well-known Minnesota actor, but first a look at what's coming up today on Martha. All right, thanks, Martha. First up this morning, a Minnesotan who's made quite a name for himself in Hollywood, actor John Carroll Lynch has starred in such films as Zodiac, Face Off, and hometown favorite, of course, Fargo. Let's take a look.
They announced it.
They announced it?
Yeah.
So?
3-cent stamp.
You're Mallard?
Yeah.
Oh, that's terrific.
It's just a 3-cent.
It's terrific.
John is currently working on his next project, a film based upon the 1987 U of M championship crew team. And we're very happy to welcome John, along with former crew member Brad Melby, to the show this morning to tell us more. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
It's great to see you. You know, John, I have a tough time, talking to you without, telling you Prowler needs a jump.
Oh, yeah. Sure
I'm sure you get that a lot. But new project, very exciting project.
Yeah,
tell us
really
about the history of the 1987 crew team and how the whole thing came to be.
Well, actually, Brad told me this story quite a while ago. Brad met my wife from American Express Financial, where he was working, and he told my wife the story, who said, "You have to hear this story," so I heard it, and from the time he told me, I just really knew it needed to be a movie. And so for the last few years, with Tess Clark, my co-writer, we've been writing it, and now we're ready to get it produced. It's a great story about the 1987 crew team. Maybe you should...
Yeah, Brad, tell us the significance of that year and why it's so important.
Well, we were such an unlikely group of people. I mean, it was a ragtag team, and there were 5 men to make a 4-man shell, and I was sort of the odd man out, the weakest link, and I did all that I could to get the attention from Coach and to be able to make a seat. And so that was sort of the inspiration of the story. And growing up in North Dakota, coming here and thinking, I'm going to be on a rowing team, going to the university banks of Mississippi and seeing this tin hut and thinking, how are we going to ever accomplish anything, was remarkable.
Well, the amazing thing about rowing, too, and this is like a, well, I guess a real-life Hoosiers, because rowing is so big out east with the Ivy League schools and just the eastern part of the country. To get a team together in Minnesota and go out there and win a championship, it really is phenomenal. Yeah.
It was really amazing when you see their old boathouse, not the new one. The new one's so beautiful, and it's on a lovely spot there by the East Bank. But the old one is a corrugated tin hut behind the power plant, and it wasn't big enough for the shells, so they had to cut a hole in the side and build this wooden box to make sure they could tuck it in like this and then put it back onto the rack.
It's incredible.
I mean, it was amazing.
What I find so funny about rowing, too, is how they recruit. They don't recruit you before you get there. Don't the coaches, do they still come to registration and look for taller, lanky students and say, hey, you want to earn a letter? And yeah.
Well, actually, I met this gal on campus, and she said, wow, you're tall. You'd be a good rower. You should come to our recruiting meeting tonight. And they had food, and she was cute, and I thought, this would be kind of fun. So next thing you know, I'm listening to the coach, and he's talking about how glorious it'll be in the spring, and the next day I show up at the boathouse, and here's this tin hut. I'm thinking, oh boy,
what a great recruiting. Well, how easy to recruit. Too bad Tubby Smith's recruit aren't as easy. Well,
I know, really.
Yeah, well,
sandwiches.
Exactly.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, that's all it takes. That's what makes rowers.
And they work so hard. I mean, being a club sport, not only do they work so hard at the sport itself, but also they have to pay for everything. So they have a rent-a-rower program. You go on the website and they'll do your landscaping for you, and they'll put the money to the crew team. Right. I mean, that's how they did it.
Well, what struck you, John, about the story? I mean, so many stories, everyone's saying, oh, I got a great idea for a movie, but what struck you? What makes for a good film?
Well, for this story, what I kept on coming back to was how this had affected Brad's life, and also how the sport of crew is so beautiful when you see it from the river.
It really is.
You're watching these beautiful shells go by, and it looks effortless. And inside the boat, it's brutal.
Yeah.
And to stick to it, there's a reason why slaves did it.
Yeah,
and to stick to it, and to be so committed to it, you really strip away all the pieces of yourself that don't mean anything but commitment and enthusiasm. And for me, that's a story that needs to be told over and over
again.
True,
yeah, true teamwork.